I can't hear nobody. You're in the show. Everyone can see. Can y'all hear me? I can't hear y'all. Why can't I hear y'all? Oh, there we go.
Vic, you muted, bro.
Oh no, I took the mute off. I could hear
I
whoever that
was I
was. I
was
could
the
hear.
one muted. That no,
Uh,
I was the one muted. Yeah, no. No, I was just saying, man. Like the first show of the year, man, and it's good to be back. My voice is still raspy from New Year's. You know what I'm saying? So just work with me today. But yeah, man, it's happy to have everybody here, man, and I hope it's going to be a good show. What's up, Mike Lug? What's going on, man? We'll let him fix his camera, get his mic together.
oh,
What's up?
that's Mike Logan, the
Yeah,
played for the Steelers. Oh shit, you
man,
got me
don't
over
even.
here.
Okay.
Sheesh, that's
Yeah.
what's up. That's crazy. Wow.
So today's show was important, man, and because we got you two guys on, and we just kind of want to have these conversations. This is basically a man development kind of a situation. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Where we just talk about how we get through certain things, whether it be mental health, whether it be anything, you know what I'm saying? All the different things we have to deal with, go through, you know what I'm saying? And just get through life and be better, you know what I mean? Take
Yeah.
accountability on ourselves, man. And I know the people on this cast, that's how we all feel, and that's how we all, try to help out in the world, like put the voice out there.
Yeah.
What's going on? Hit me?
What's happening?
Man,
Happy
good to
Happy
see
New
you.
Year, my brother.
Happy New Year, my brother.
And Happy New
Yeah.
Year to
Happy
the
New
panel.
Year's
You
to
know what I'm
everybody.
saying? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So we got Doug Flex, Dougie Flex, my man here. Man, I probably known Doug since hey, hit me. You
Since we
probably
was
know Doug
kids.
too. Actually, he's from Wilkesburg. But Doug, I know I probably known Doug since we was like the bees. No, Ali's
7 or 8. Yeah. We was
8 years
like eight,
old.
9. Yeah.
Yeah, babies. And
Mm-hmm.
me and Mike Logo way back. I grew up with his brothers. You know what I mean? And he's kind of a part of the family at this point. So how's everything? Can you get your mic together, Mike?
Looks
He's
like
still ain't
he's
got.
muted.
He's muted for sure, but I even when I unmute him, he can't. He's not responding to us. So we're gonna try to get him figured out. But man. So let's get into it though. Anything Anybody got anything to open up with? How was your holiday? Y'all good?
Yeah. I
All
enjoyed
right.
my
Yo,
holiday. That's for sure.
hey, I want to shout out my man Two Outfit Shorty on New Year's, man. You know, he came a long way, son.
Don't do
You know
that.
what I'm saying? You doubling up the fence now, man. You came a long way, son. I just want to shout you out, man.
You
I see
know.
you shining, son.
We had the fashion episode for a reason, you know what I'm saying? Cause we be out here shining sometimes. Doug was the first dude I seen wear a pink suit to prom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah.
so he been knew about that. I still
Uh-huh.
won't do it, but it's cool. Um, well, here we go, man. So like every year, we say this is a new year, new me. So basically, how we do, I'll ask a question, everybody reflects, and you know what I'm saying, and then we'll elaborate or go to the next question on that. That's
Uh-huh.
basically how the show works. Um, so with the new year here, and everybody dealing with their resolutions and what they're cutting out and how we're gearing up, man. What's the best way to gear for this year? So the first question is, how do we make this our year? What's the first thing we should do to even make this year our year? Who wants to spin first?
I guess I'll go first since I'm like, a guest. And one of my things is you can't hit what you can't see. So, you got to set goals. It's funny because, growing up, Kev, a lot of people used to always tell us a lot of things. And, we speaking for myself, you kind of brush them off like, oh, I ain't got to do that. I ain't, is cliche as it may sound, man, writing down your goals to see them makes a huge, huge difference, man. And I read in a book back in 2017 that just talked about how your subconscious mind takes over when you constantly see what it is that you are aiming for. So last year, I sat down with my family. We made vision boards. We We didn't do it this year, but I got the materials for us to finish our vision boards this year. And along with the vision boards, just having your goals down, whatever they may be. Family was a big goal for me last year, man. Just being transparent. My son is 16 now. My daughter's 11. So I'm hitting those funny attitude years with my kids, and being married as well with my wife. I really wanted to enhance. I really wanted to enhance my family dynamic and relationship. So, for me, that's just big, man. Just writing your goals down wherever you write them in your phone, or paper, or however you do it.
No, that's dope. That's dope. Anybody want to go next?
Yeah, so I think that's a good one, man. That goes back. That's something that I just kind of do subconsciously now. I remember back in the day, somebody had taught me. Um, they were like, "Yo, if you want to rush for 1,000 yards, you'll put it up on your mirror," and that was
Yep.
something. So it's just something that I do, but something that's actually kind of top of mind that I do now is at the end of every year, I try to transition into it, and I do what's called start, stop, continue. And I just kind of analyze everything I got going on in my life, and I'm like, okay, what's working well, what isn't, what is it something that I want to bring in, and then what is it something that I need to remove.
Hmm.
So it starts off the year in a good fashion that way, and then from there, something else that I do, and we'll probably get into this, man. I start off every year vegetarian, so I don't eat no meat, and I try to get it. And it's not just a health goal; it's about mind, body, and spirit, man. I'm just trying to cleanse and be my best self going into every year. But it starts at the end of the previous year. So I think that, man, that helps me. It's been a routine I've been doing for probably about 5 to 7 years now. And it
Hmm.
works for me, man. So hopefully, if somebody doesn't have a routine, man, borrow mine, man. Hopefully it'll, help you become your best self.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you got your stuff together, Mike?
Yeah, I'm together, bro. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you, bro.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I ain't had no headphones on, and then I couldn't hear everybody, so kind of missed everything that y'all were saying except for the last brother that spoke. So what's up, fellas? Mike Lowe, just checking in. How y'all doing, man?
What's up? What's
Good.
up?
Good. Good.
Uh, he just spoke about. We're talking about what are some things we do to start our year off. How do we prepare for starting our year off?
Right.
So, if you got anything to say to that one?
Um, for me, man, new year, everybody do that new year, new opportunity, new me. It's still the same old me for me. You know what I mean? I just look back and reflect on the previous year that I lived, and I kind of say, did I accomplish my goals? Did I do the things that I said I was going to do? And if I didn't, you know, I look about why I didn't do them, and that's what I try to attack. You know what I mean? Like, was it because I was procrastinating? Was it because I didn't have time? Were there extenuating circumstances that didn't allow me to do what I wanted to do the previous year? So for me, it's just I don't do anything in particular because I want to make it a lifestyle. You know what I mean? The things that I want to do, I want it to be a lifestyle. I don't want to have to try to set something for me. Not saying I don't have goals and aspirations and things like that, but living my lifestyle. I try to live that routinely because day in and day out for me, um, I just want to I want to live the best life that I can possibly live, and if I'm doing that, I know all the things around me will come into place. And that's just what I try to do. I try to just focus and just try to reflect on what I didn't do last year, and then attack it. Everything for me is game planning. I got a competitor's mindset, so I know I can go out if I set my mind to it. I can get it done. It's just about why I didn't get it done, and then I just try to rectify it and make it happen.
Oh, I love that. I love that you touched on that. Your competitor mindset and why getting it done. We're going to touch on that a little later because that's definitely a part of the question base. What's up, Hit? What you got, bro?
Yo, man. For me, coming off of like a great year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a fantastic year. Like, you know what I'm saying? How do you continue that? And but how do you find some balance? You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it's about creating balance in everything that you're doing. So you know what I mean. I mean, as a fantastic year I had, I gotta look back at it and say like, yo, how can I create the balance to sustain it without taking from other areas? You know what I'm saying, or losing in other areas. So, um, like that's my biggest thing is like Mike said, like it's really a continuation. It's really like, you know what I'm saying, this is what you do. But you know what I mean? Now that you did it and you look and review it, like how can I sustain it? And, or, you know what I'm saying? Like how do I level it up? You know what I mean? Like, cause like I heard something before, I don't know who said it, but it was like always look how to scale up. So if you got 3 clients, how do you scale up to 10 clients? You know what I mean? So if I had this fantastic year, how do I scale it up? You know what I'm saying, to an even better year, or how do I make even more money, or how do I, you know what I'm saying, grow my business? So like how you do that is what I'm still that's why I'm on this podcast trying to figure out, listen to you guys, like how do I find that balance, you know what I'm saying, so I can scale this up, you know, without taking and losing in other areas.
No, that's dope. So y'all know I take like notes during the cast, right? Um, the east side of me put a K in scale. If y'all understand what that what I'm getting at. Um, go ahead, Leaford. What you got?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't necessarily do resolutions, but I'm an extremely goal oriented and mission oriented person. So for me, it's just like a continuous process throughout the year. So at the beginning of the year, it's usually just me, assessing where I'm at the moment, and then kind of just focusing on what I want for that year. So I don't. My wife, she's really good at doing the vision boards. She usually does that with the kids and the family and stuff, and they get together do the vision boards. I don't necessarily do that, but what I do every single day is like I text myself like the goal for the day, like whatever it is that I'm focused on, the next step that I'm trying to do, or the next place that I'm trying to go. I text myself that, and then that's the focus for the day, and then I do that every single day. So it's a constant reminder of where I'm trying to go, so I don't get sidetracked or let somebody come in and throw me off track. So that's pretty much my process all the time, man. I just I know where I want to go, and I just remind myself of that every day. Remind myself of the goal and why the goals are in place.
So I guess I'll spin now. So I kind of had the same thing as hit me, right? So like I had a phenomenal year last year, in certain aspects of my life. Like for the past couple years, it's been that way, and I'm on a trajectory to just keep that going. But I do want to add some other things that I've been having on my bucket list for the longest, man. And it's just I just can't figure out how to put the balance, as you mentioned, how to add these additional things in there that I know I want, that I know I need, more I know I want. You know what I'm saying? So how do I add these extra things and without losing some of the fantastic things I've acquired through the year? You know what I'm saying? And it's been challenging even thinking about it. And this is I guess this is like the first year that I really don't even have a goal. I have one goal, but it's like that's it. It's not like a list of things that I need to knock out. And I'm like, it's kind of like Mike, like winning the Super Bowl. Now, what do you do after you've been working for the Super Bowl your entire life? You know what I'm saying? You get it, and you're like, is it over? I mean, the next thing to do is be like, I'll get another one. But realistically, how many houses can you get? How many cars can you buy? How, you know what I'm saying? Where you're not being gluttonous is what I'm. It's kind of one of those weird things, man. And so I'm kind of in this place where I really don't even know where to go from here. I have a couple goals that I need to knock out. But as far as, man, change a career, I'm good. Change of this, I don't need. I just need to continue these certain things, and I'm just trying to figure it out too. So I guess the next question would be the Doug, you brought it up, the vision board stuff, right? And is that a valuable tool? What kind of tools are we using to plan this stuff out? Like, you mentioned vision boards. I know a ton of females that do vision boards. It's just nothing that we've ever had in our sector. I don't think, you know what I'm saying, that we talk about,
Mm-hmm.
like even like Leafer said, man, I my wife does a great job with that, and I'm sure like
Mm-hmm.
they come over and drink wine, and all the ladies just got these cutouts and pasties, and you know what I mean. So we automatically were, just cut off from something like that. You know what I mean. So what kind of tools are we using? You know what I mean, to kind of plan out what's going on with our future.
I think it's kind of like it's personal preference. You know what I'm saying? Vision boards was something that I never really did before. For those of you guys, like, you're not really familiar with me. Like Kev said, we've known each other since we was kids, man. So last year, I took that leap of faith, and I stepped away from my job, $100,000 a year job, to pursue my dream of just being an entrepreneur and working for myself. So, I grew up in a military home, so structure is very, very important for me. Like, I thrive in structured environments. When I don't have structure, I can get lost. You know what I mean? So it was kind of an idea for me to have something that I could see daily, but also have something an activity that I could do with my kids, because I mentioned to you guys before, one of my goals for last year was to enhance my relationship with my wife and my kids and my family, and I think your name's Hit Me, right? He spoke on balance. And for me, this is just my opinion, balance to me is, I don't really think it's attainable when you are goal oriented and you're very passionate about the things that you want out of life. I think that it takes understanding from everybody around you in your circle. But I don't think that, I'm not saying that balance isn't achievable at all, but it's difficult, Mike, when you were playing football at the highest level, there are so many things that you have going on that it's almost impossible to have that balance to be a great football player and then be a great dad, be a great husband, because us as men, we're providers. So, and I know me, if my money ain't right, I ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Because if I can't provide and take care of my family, I I got to do what's necessary in order to get there. So, I think that, like I said, it's all personal preference, and everybody has a different take on it. But for me, me being able to visually see what I'm going after really, really helps me.
No, that's dope. What's some other tools that guys use?
The
So,
thing,
who's that? Go ahead, Mike.
so for me, like I said, it's about me finding that consistency and looking back at some of the things that I didn't do in the previous year and why I didn't do it. And
Self-assessment, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
what I've started doing now, and I started the end of last year, is actually like journaling, man. I picked up this book, and it's called Burn After Writing, and it kind of challenges you on some different questions and asks you about different aspects of your life, and how would you handle this and things like that. And I started writing in that just casually, um, trying to get to know myself a little bit now, because as you guys know, like, I had a whole career and then retired and did some other things, and then I got to a point where I was like, all right, I just want to kind of chill back and see where my life goes from here. So I just started noticing different things about myself, and like I said, some things that I would start and maybe not finish, and I never had that happen to me, because like I talked about the competitor's mindset, it was always, you're going to do something, you got to complete it. You know what I mean? You start something, you got to complete it. And that's everything in life. You know what I mean? You start being a parent, you got to complete it. You know what I mean? You start being a husband, you got to complete it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything for me was this competitive mindset, and I have to finish the job of what I'm doing. But while I'm doing that, I just wanted to continually get better at doing everything that I was, sought out to do. And sometimes I know that I was coming up short. So I started journaling everything. Now I'm writing down stuff, just about my day, just about how I approach things. And when I go back and read it, it puts me to that reflection again. And then I start to see different areas where I was slipping at, or I wasn't as keen on certain aspects of my life. And when you go back and read it, and since it's myself assessing, it's that self assessment, um, I know it's true. I know it's real. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you talk to other people, they might see you and you might not tell them everything of why you didn't really dig deep into it because you don't want to express those feelings and emotions. But when it's just me writing to myself, I can be as transparent as I want to be. And then once I read it, the realization of, damn, bro, this is you. Why didn't you do this? Or why didn't you do that? Why did you fall short in this area? I need to give more. I need to chill more. I need to take back a little bit from this area of my life and put it towards this area of my life. So this journaling, man, has really helped me, um, see things for what they are, see things for the reality of what it is. And it's coming from me. So I know that it's honest and I know this is 100.
You know what I don't think you realized you might have said is you self evaluate throughout the whole year.
No doubt.
You know what I
No
mean?
doubt.
Like that's the jewel that you like. As I'm listening, I was like, he's self evaluating the whole entire year.
See, and that's why when it came to the new year, it's like, I've already been doing that. I've been already like finding where my shortcomings are and doing that stuff. And it's just about getting better and rectifying it and just being consistent because this is the lifestyle that I want to live now.
I think the jewel is that consistency. Like, you know what I mean? We all start out fast. You know what I'm saying? Well, speak for me, like I'm very inconsistent. You know what I mean? And I'm noticing that. And that's something I was gonna do this year was do like 4-quarter check-ins. Like, you know what I'm saying? The first quarter, I'm gonna check in and see like where am I at with my goals. Like, am I doing what I said I was gonna do? Am I at where I think I was supposed to be? And then make that adjustment. And then, you know what I'm saying, the half, then the third quarter, then going into the next year, because that's gonna hold yourself accountable for that consistency that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to get like, you know what I'm saying, coming from the winter to the spring, things change, the climate change, you know what I'm saying? The parties change, the people change, the opportunities is different. And even going into the summer, the days are longer. You know what I'm saying? You got different things, it's just so many ways to get distracted, but you gotta like remain consistent to see any type of improvement or to create that balance. I think, you know what I'm saying, everything is in balance in the world for me. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the animals, you look at nature, it's just things all work together. And to find that balance, you know what I'm saying, you got to be consistently on your goal to understand what you need to create the balance. You know what I mean? If you don't, then you're going, you know what I mean, you're gonna get lost, man. You know what I'm saying?
And you said it there though. You got to have that check in to recognize it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that journal is doing for me. That's where I can go back and see it. You know what I mean? And say, okay, I'm not up on my game. I got to get back to it. I got to get to it harder. I got to change what I do this day, and this day.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, man, one thing that most people leave out, consistency is definitely an essential part of anything in life. I mean, I don't care what it is that you want out of life, you have to have consistency. But the only way to have consistency is to have discipline because a lot of times, especially like, it's the new year, like Mike said, everybody's new year, new me, and a lot of people are excited and they're motivated at first. But once that motivation fades and that excitement fades, and then now it's time to get knee deep into the work, a lot of times that's where the inconsistency comes because some people lack motivation. Some people, are lacking in some other areas, but that discipline is what will keep you consistent when you don't feel like doing whatever it is that you need. I literally just made a post on my Instagram and my Facebook. I think it was yesterday or the other day. You know, um, your goals don't get. I can curse, right? Your goals don't give a fuck about your feelings. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we get that confused, you know, especially now we live in such a social media based world where a lot of people think that they can just make a post and things are going to happen, but you got to put action behind that. You got to put discipline behind that, you know, and every time that I feel like I don't want to do something, that's my excuse to do it because I don't want to do it. And that's how I was able to develop the my discipline now. I wish I had that when I was younger, you know. I wish that I was able to, you know, when I didn't feel like doing something, I didn't want to do something, or whenever something bad happened in my day, I wish that I was able to stay disciplined back then like I was now. But yeah, man, like you guys definitely are making some great points, you know. And I'm a firm believer that like discipline is that one thing that if you can be disciplined, consistency is easy.
All
Yo,
right.
but all right, let me chime in for Dougie real quick. So I know, you know what I mean, you're a big workout guy, right? And so like for me, I'm gonna tell my story. So this summer I took opportunity, I worked out, I got my sexy on, right? So when I
Yeah.
got my sexy right, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You started getting invites. I'm jumping from city to city, I'm moving around. And then, you know what I'm saying? I'm losing my goals. Not because like I wasn't, or it was because I was disciplined to get there, but I got distracted once, you know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
started seeing a reward. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting the
Mm-hmm.
babies on me, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking my shirt off, I'm feeling good, son. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
thing about being consistent is like, you know what I'm saying? How do you stay consistent even like with all the distractions? You winning, you know what I'm saying? You having a good time. Like, how do you do that?
For me, I read a book in 2017 that changed my entire mindset. It's called Relentless by Tim Grover. He was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's trainer. And he just talked about the mindset and the mentality of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. And it's just about not being satisfied, right? So you hit your goal and you got satisfied. Whereas Mike and Kobe, when they hit their goal, they wasn't satisfied. They like, all right, what's the next goal? You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why a lot of athletes struggle when it comes down to retirement, because it's like, now what do I do? You know what I'm saying? And Kobe said he struggled with that. And then he found other endeavors that he was able to set goals with to help him after his career was over. So now, trust me, easier said than done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't going to sit up here and lie and act like I'm the most disciplined human monk walking around. You know what I'm saying? But we have to learn how to not become satisfied when we hit our goals and continue to strive, and you know what, and not be afraid to fail, because sometimes too that's one of the reasons why we don't we get complacent, you know, because we have a fear of, if I keep going, man, I might fail, or I might, you know, I might not do as good as I think, you know. And to me, failure is like, if I ain't failing, I ain't trying, I ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? So, but you know, I train a lot of clients, and I've been there before too. You know what I'm saying? I know what it feels like when you hit your goal, and then that's just pretty much all it is we just get complacent once we hit our goals. Think about guys that, so in the book, Tim Grover talks about the three tiers that he calls athletes. You got your coolers, you got your closers, and your cleaners. So, Mike, I know you can relate to this. When you got to the NFL, there was a tier of guys that were just happy to make it. All they cared about was their paycheck. Then you had some guys that were right above them. They were happy that they made it. They liked the paycheck, but they're okay with being average. Then you got the elite, the guys that they feel like they're gonna get cut, but they the star on the team. You know what I'm saying? Because in their mind, they can't take their foot off the gas. They got to keep going. You know what I mean? So that's why I say, man, not, if you guys haven't read that book, I recommend it. It's an amazing, amazing book. And then he wrote another book called Winning that I read last year as well. And it just really just helped me understand that, you know, when you set a goal, you're going to hit a goal, and you set another one. And that's kind of like my mantra, you know, with my business. And, you know, one of my sayings is, it's still hunting season. Because, you know, if you're a hunter, or if you got to hunt for your food, once you catch your food and you eat, right, you ain't starving no more. But eventually you're gonna have to go back out there and you're gonna have to hunt again. Or you're gonna starve and you ain't gonna eat.
You know, it's funny though, and I'm gonna tell you why I, I I live the way I live now is because I was all three of those. You know what I mean? I was all three of them because when I came in and they gave me the bag, I was like, "Mama, I made it. I ain't got to do nothing else." You know what I'm saying? I seen that check with them 7 figures on it. I was like, "I'm a Millie." I ain't, I was like, "What else is there to do?" You know what I'm saying? Until I
Uh-huh.
spun some of that Millie, and then I was like, I ain't a millionaire no more. Now what I got to do? Then I
Mm-hmm.
got to a point where I was like, I like the paycheck, but I'm just going to do enough because I was still my priorities wasn't straight. Back then,
Mm-hmm.
like I was taking it for granted. I was like, I think you know when you're blessed with talent and you can achieve without really putting everything into it, it kind of creates this monster because then you start to pick up bad habits. Then you start to be like slacking a little bit. You're not putting your all into it. And I
Mm-hmm.
got to a point where I was like, I was cool with just like chilling but then I started getting hurt. I was getting a little long in the tooth here, and I was like, damn, man, people don't play that long in this league. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was coming to it towards the end. And then it finally got to a point where I was like, listen, I'm on my grind every day. Even though I'm the starter, I still got to go in here and put in this work and max out and do, you know what I mean? And I went through all three of those phases. And that's what got me to the point where I'm at now, where I don't want to go through those phases anymore. I want to live my life at this level of where I think I should be at. And I won't have to, go back or, slip up here and then try to put more in. I just want to, be there and whatever I aspire to do. And it ain't got to be for me, like, I accomplished my all-time dream at 22 years old, 23 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it did take some hunger out of me once I got finished. But then I was like, when I retired, I was 33. So I'm like, I still got to live. You know
Still
what
got a
I'm saying?
whole life ahead of
I
you. And
still,
yeah, I totally
bruh,
get it.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like people think like you retire and you get your pension right away. No, bro, we
Mm-hmm.
got to wait till 55 just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a whole career, 20 years to fill in, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, before I could sit back and relax. And that changed the mindset too then I was like, okay, now I got to press on. I got to
Mm-hmm.
really, get my thoughts together, get collected, and get myself together, because that's when you really got to start living. You know what I mean? I really, prior to that, that was easy. Now you get done, life start hitting you. You ain't you're not doing the things that you've been accustomed to doing for the past 11 years of your life, and 11 years professionally and 20 years before that. You know what I'm saying? Start of playing football and doing that routine. So that's 30 years of football and that being a part of my life. When I got finished, bro, I didn't know what to do because I was like, I was identified by what I was doing, and
You
I
know
didn't.
what? Another thing about that
You know what I mean?
is your environment is way different.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? The way you make money now, the skills that you gotta have, is a lot different. I have this goal to create an IT company, but it feel like a locker room. I swear. Like, you know what I mean? Like my whole goal is to, like, once I have like a building, I'm gonna have benches and pull up stations all over the, you know what I mean, next to the cubicles or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Because I just miss that environment. You know what I mean? Of that brotherhood. All of that. Like,
The
it's
camaraderie.
you don't get
Mm-hmm.
it anymore. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it becomes hard to function because you're not dealing with the same mind frame guys of driven, athletic, competitive individuals that helped you be that way. Like, like Doug would tell you, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that we was the most competitive. It was that everybody was going hard, so you would look crazy if you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's like you don't want to be the guy to not get the scholarship. You don't want to be the guy to not, hit the weights. You don't want to be the guy because everybody's doing it. So it's like, what happens when in the real world, it's you and you alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And however you want your career to go, that's you and you alone. I think it's one of the tougher things I've had to deal with. And I've been at a football a long time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Way longer than any of you or whatever. So it's even coming from like high school and college ball and then not having that in the transition of this. And in my field, not only is it like guys that aren't my complexion. It's people I don't even identify with. I'm in IT, ain't nothing but nerds. Nerds hate jocks. You know what I mean? And it's just a whole different vibe and environment. And it's been hard for me to stay consistent. It's been hard for me to stay on. You know what I mean? Like I get the check or whatever, but it's just been hard to do those kind of things that I grew up trying to install and depending on to get me by.
Mm-hmm.
Now without those things, and it kind of helped me ignore some of the defects I had. You know what I'm saying? Like I had ADHD growing up, still got it now, but I've been a part of a team sport so long that it helped me ignore any of that, you know what I mean? Any of that discipline. Now I really got to hone in on how am I going to sit and focus when nobody else is around me. We're working from home now. You know what I'm saying? There really ain't nobody. How am I going to get on this computer and code anything? You know what I mean? It's been one heck of a challenge, because it's like I have nobody around me to like, hey, this, that. You know what I'm saying? We'll score. We coding this. We doing that. In our meetings, I don't know what any of my coworkers look like. We don't even camera up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what they look like. I could walk right by them on the street and not even know. So I struggle with even creating that environment, having that environment of staying consistent, staying disciplined. It's like dependent all on me. So I guess the next question, I mean, we skipped over some questions because I was just spitting, right? So but the next question is you can't just say you gotta be disciplined. You can't just say you gotta be consistent, right? We need some tools. I know for me, I need some tools on how to implement these things at this point. Because the tools used to be the environment. I no longer have that tool. So what's the tools? What tools can you guys recommend, for that? You know what I mean? So we could be disciplined, so we could be consistent. You know what I mean? What are some practices? Like what's the thoughts around fasting and that kind of stuff?
So I'm glad y'all brought it up this way, because I had kind of some feedback on kind of a couple other ones, but folks was really getting into it, so I didn't want to interrupt. But for me, man, so obviously, I played football, but one of the things about discipline and one of the things that running your own race, because I also ran track, and that taught me kind of that discipline. It was me against me, and that's where I learned that once I was out of sports and once I was in the real world and I'm in corporate America. That whole alpha or that whole push through until something happens, like that didn't work. They're like, yo, you're intimidating. You're a big black dude, I'm like, yo, I just want to get it done. And they're like, no, you're doing too much. And I'm like, oh, well, no, like follow my lead. I'm gonna take us where we need to go. And they're like, no, we just want you to stop. And I was like, oh, okay. So I realized what got me there wasn't going to take me forward. So one of the things that I started realizing, and in my opinion, man, I learned a lot and I grew up a lot, actually getting into corporate America and actually being able to figure out how to be successful in that, because it was like going into a whole different country where you don't speak the language and figuring it out. And I came out on the other side, on the winning edge. But so as far as tools, like for example, man, one of the things that I use a lot, man, because I'm a numbers-based person, but one of the things I use a lot of QuickBooks. And I'm also, a certified project manager. So I do a lot of project management principles as well. So I'll go in, not necessarily in the beginning of the year, but at the end of the year, I'll go and do a RACI board. It's kind of like, I call it a vision board for men. Same thing, but what you're doing, it's more bullet points. It's not all the foofy and it's not all the pictures and all the cute stuff. It's bullet points. This is what I want to accomplish. This is how long it's supposed to take. And this is the results that I'm looking to get out of it. And when I did that, I just applied that to my life, because a lot of the stuff that I'm putting into my life right now, I didn't see growing up. Like y'all said, something that you see, you can now attain. I didn't see it. So it was trial and error. So as I was kind of going through this life and figuring it out, man, I was like, yo, what I was doing, I don't think that's gonna work here. So I start watching. And like I tell a bunch of my employees or just mentees, I'm like, yo, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you should be listening 2 times more than you're talking. And that's what I did. I just watched and I saw the people that were successful and the people that were where I wanted to be. And I said, okay, I'll pluck that. That part of it may not work for me, but that part does. So I just kind of took and I just Frankensteined everything together to create my own thing. And one of the things that I see has worked for me is I implement those project management principles. So one, definitely the QuickBooks. So for example, one of my goals, and we'll probably get to this, one of my goals this year is to become totally debt free. Because and one of the things that y'all was talking about was the self-assessment, like whether it be every quarter. For me, that don't work because what I have what's called paralysis by analysis. So I'll be thinking about it so many times and, oh, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? Then no movement happens. Just start going. So for me, and kind of like Logan was saying, for me, what I'll end up doing is I'll end up going do it and I'll have the blinders on and I keep going and I'll look up and be like, oh, all right, we in the right direction, or oh, we need to turn around. So, but that works for me versus just standing in place and chasing my tail. But again, you have to make that assessment to know kind of how you work and what works best for you. So those are kind of the tools that I use, and man, that's how I'm gonna hit these goals this year.
Yo, for me, I got a couple goals. And the way I think, if you know you struggle with something, sometimes it's better just to remove the obstacle, out instead of sitting there trying to fight with something you're gonna have some issues with. So like the example is like I told myself I'm not buying no more clothes this year. Like none. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying nothing. So like January 1st, I unsubscribed from Saks Fifth, Nordstrom. Like I don't want no emails, I don't want no text messages, I don't want nothing. Cause if I get to looking at them, I'll be like, oh, those is half off? You know what I'm saying? Yo, you know what? I'm just gonna get this. So I know how I am. I just went on and wiped it out of my life. You know what I'm saying? So that's removing the obstacle, understand yourself. You know what I'm saying? Know yourself. Know that it's okay to have a struggle, but just know that sometimes you don't need to struggle with it. The struggle might be removing it and staying away from it. And it's also some people that didn't make it to 2023. You know what I'm saying? That I understand that I can't deal with this person because it makes me feel this way, or it's going to take me back to this. It's going to be counterproductive in growth. So I got to remove them. You know what I'm saying? And it's all right to remove things. It doesn't make you out. Sometimes we think it's weak, like it's a weakness if we get to keep struggling with things, but that's make us human. The gain is understanding that I struggle with this and I need to remove it so I can be better. And like that's a tool that you can use, you know what I'm saying, going into this year, is if you know that you got some things, be real with yourself, be honest with yourself, and just remove it, you know what I'm saying, and keep moving.
I love that you said be honest with yourself because that in all, like I said, I'm at a point where I can no longer um, ignore things that I've been struggling with. You know what I mean? Like I've been able to make it this far in life with ignoring it and thinking I can just willpower myself through my career or through whatever. But I'm at the point where I was like, I can't do this no more. You know what I'm saying? I need to sustain. I don't want to lose this. I finally made, you know what I'm saying, that level. And I don't want to lose it. Can't risk it. So I understand, like, I've been seeking out therapy, and I'm not a huge advocate for even therapy. You know what I mean? But I've been seeking out, different whatever medications, whatever's going to help me get there to keep, you know what I'm saying, or to fix or to I'm open to all solutions, you know what I mean? And I think that's the journey I am on for this period. And I think it'll also help me with adding and giving me the balance that I'm gonna need to add the stuff I want to add in. You know what I'm saying? So, but
You literally just touched on one of my tools that I was going to talk about. I'm actually a huge advocate for therapy. And I was, man, a few years ago, my wife was like, I think we need therapy. I was like, man, I ain't gonna go talk to no shrink. I ain't paying nobody to go talk to them. Like, I used to be totally against that. until I found my therapist last year. It was the best thing I ever did, because not only did it help me understand myself, it helped me understand my childhood traumas, which a lot of us have childhood traumas that we have blocked off, and it affects us to this day. And if you don't address these childhood traumas, they just sit and they fester in you. And a lot of times they block your blessings. A lot of times, our actions um, dictate our path. And sometimes, like, speaking for myself, I have trust issues, and I have trust issues from childhood trauma. You know, and therapy, man, has just been wonderful for me. It helped me understand myself. It helped me understand my kids. It also helped me understand my wife. And it also helped me understand other areas in my life. Um, and another tool is I like to call them daily victories. Sometimes we overthink things, right? So if you got, let's say you got one of those big water jugs, right? If you put one penny in there, it ain't gonna do nothing, right? But if that penny represents a day, every day you put one penny in that thing, over time, that jar is going to fill up. So if you, every single day, if you give yourself daily goals, all right, today I need to do, for me, today I need to make sure I eat all my meals. I need to make sure I get these client emails sent out, these check-ins. You write down every single, where you take, we break our day down, our month down, our year down to its most simplest form, just like in mathematics. You want to be able to solve a problem, you break it down to its most simplest form. So a tool that I like to use is daily victories. What do I need to do today to be successful and set myself up for tomorrow? I mean, and with that and therapy, man, my life has changed dramatically.
Yo, I
Uh,
want to agree. I want to agree with Doug on that, man. I think marriage counseling was the best thing that ever happened to me. Um, and like, and I say that after I got a divorce, but you know what I'm saying? It wasn't that, it didn't help me with the marriage, but it just helped me be a better parent, to understand like how important your childhood is, and to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, I sustain a good childhood for my children, because that's how they're going to enter in a relationship. It's based off of, like Doug said, the childhood traumas, the things that they experience or see growing up. Yo, counseling is real, man. Like, it's really good for you, man. Like, I know black people, we always talking about take it to God, take it to church. You know what I'm saying? But yo, we gotta be realistic now, man. It's trained people for this, you know. But that's a shout out, man.
Exactly.
That's a good look, Doug. Straight up, man. Like I say, it ain't helped
Yeah,
the marriage though. That
yeah.
was gone.
And it's
But you know what
and
I'm
it's just
saying?
like you said, what the therapist does. What the therapist does is it gives you an unbiased opinion. Let's keep it a bean. A lot of people's relationships, whether it be with your spouse or friendships, everybody has a bias. You know what I'm saying? Like, your mom is always going to have your back, regardless of what you do, because that's your mom. And same thing with your dad or your friends. Some of us, we all got that one friend like, oh man, forget her. She ain't nobody. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can take that and you can listen to your friend, or you can do what's right. Because most of the times when you're talking to a friend or a relative, you telling them all the bad things, and sometimes you're not telling them the full story. And one thing, I love my mom to death, man, because my mom didn't play none of that. You know what I'm saying? True story, just to be transparent. My wife, um, when I was in college, I remember she keyed my car and ripped my side view mirror off my car, and I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, man, I'm spazzing out. My mom, she said, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "What you mean? What did I do?" She was like, "Nah, what did you do?" And I told her, and my mom was like, "That's what you get." You know what I mean? Because it was a lesson for me to learn that, if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? And if you're gonna treat somebody foul, expect to get that foul treatment back. And don't be mad when it happens. Understand when it happens. So I was thankful for my mom to be that person in my life, to not to not, like my dad would be like, "Oh man, that's messed up. She shouldn't have did that." But my mom was like, "You lucky it wasn't me. I'd have blew your shit up." You know what I'm saying? So, you know, um, therapy, you get an unbiased professional opinion, and you also get somebody who can pull up case studies, give you examples of other people and other situations, because sometimes we think we go through stuff and we don't think anybody else goes through it. And that's so not true. What happens is a lot of people just don't talk about these things. But going to a therapist, that's their job. They're reading and taking in new information and learning new things all the time. So, it's like you're so right, bro. Like, therapy has been everything for me, man. I love going to go see my therapist. I knew it was real my first session. Now she had me crying. You know what I'm saying? And it was mind blowing that she was able to pull things out of me that I had tucked so deep down inside of me, that she was also able to be like, well, this is why you're like that. And this is why you act like that. This is why you talk like that. You ever think to say it like this? And I'm like, no, I didn't even think about that. You know what I'm saying? And those are the type of that's the type of advice that we do need. We need unbiased advice, man, because that's our parents and our friends. That's how they that's how they gonna be.
Well, I mean, I agree with you to a degree, but that's one reason why I love this show and this panel, because although we're all very close, we all have very different opinions, and the fact that we what we do have in common is the iron sharpening iron, right, and not letting us slide. So we're not going to give no, when you wrong, you're wrong. Especially Leifer here, if when I want the most opposite, I'm gonna call him and ask him for advice, because I know he's going to give it to me from. I'm not going to agree. I know I'm not going to agree, so I'll call him just to get that unagreeable opinion about what I might have. Like if he agrees with me, I'll be like, man, something wrong, something up. It's different. So I kind of expect him not to agree. So I mean, that's one thing I love about uh, my circle, is that that has been my therapy and it still works. Um, but I've been taking it to a place. We had an episode, Mind, Body, Spirit, right? And it was about I don't know if y'all know Joe Lemon, but he talks about body hacking, and therapy is a part of the body hacking, along with like certain medications. And they're even in, he's deep into like the flotation tanks, and even like medical mushrooms, like, you know what I'm saying, like that kind of stuff, like he's implementing. And I appreciated even that little bit of knowledge, and that's kind of stuff that I would have never thought to deal with, that I've gone into a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if Mike, you've dealt with any of that. I know a lot of football players are getting into some type of the medicinal stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
To whatever.
yeah, they definitely going into that route. But the whole thing, like for athletes now, is dealing with the mental health. You know what I'm saying? There's so much of physical with us professional athletes that you don't even consider, anything mentally. And which is weird to me, because truth be told, the difference between being a professional athlete and being an amateur athlete with me was all mental. When you're able to get over the mental hurdle that's blocking you from really being the best that you can be, and it's in all aspects. You know what I'm saying? How you present yourself, all this stuff, to be able to make it to the professional level, to get yourself at the right circles and all those things. It's all a mental game. And I'll never forget, Shamika Holesclaw, WNBA player, invited me to a mental health conference. I think it was called Active Minds. This was years ago. And I was wondering why she asked me to go. And she was like, listen, if you can get mentally healthy, all the physical ailments that you have, that you've had and have, you'll be able to overcome them. You'll be able to overcome them easier. And over my career, man, I had 10 surgeries. You know what I'm saying? I had posterior reconstruction on both knees. I had hamstring reattachment on my left knee, patella tears, you know what I mean? Broke my shoulder, broke my jaw, and I was still able to play over a decade in the league with all of those injuries. And every year, I'm telling you, every year they would be like, we can't cut this dude. Even when after they drafted Troy and they was like, yo, we got a first round pick to come in here and take his spot. They was like, Coach Kyle called me in office. He was like, I can't cut you. He was like, I don't know how you came back from that knee injury so quickly. And it was all about my mental health. And the one thing that I said was, you know, when your leg hurts, when your arm hurts, when your back hurts, you go get treatment for that to try to get yourself recuperated to get back out on the field. But when your mind hurts, when you ain't feeling right, why wouldn't I seek treatment for that? Why wouldn't I go to physical therapy to build my mental strength back up so I can start thinking right to get myself back in on the field? And when I started to do that, when I started to seek mental help, and get my mind right again and get treatment for my mind, I started to flourish. I really didn't hit that peak until like my 7th year in the league. And unfortunately I ended up getting hurt that 7th year and then my 9th year. But I was still able to come back just because I was so mentally strong that I was like, even what I lost physically, I've gained mentally, and it filled that gap for me.
No, that's real. I don't think a lot of people even talk about that aspect of it, and I'm sure a lot of athletes do that, and we wonder like how they come back so fast from this. But that makes sense. If you're going through physical therapy, go through mental therapy at the same time. Like,
Telling you, it made the world of difference for me, bro. And I gotta big up the therapy again, man. I had COVID in early 2020, like real bad, like to the point where me and my wife had it at the same time. 2 days later, she back on her Peloton. I'm laying in the bed for like 12 days straight. Lost like 28 pounds, couldn't eat, couldn't move. And it felt like every muscle in my body was cramping up at the same time. And that's just how I laid there. And I really thought I was going to die. That was the first time I ever felt my mortality. And I was like, I'm just going to die right here in my bed alone because they couldn't come see me and all that stuff, man. And after it, after I got better, man, I started having severe anxiety, almost to the point of paranoia. And I was shook, man. I just didn't know how to respond from it because I never acknowledged that anxiety was something that would take me down. You know what I'm saying? And I'll never forget, man. I was just sitting there one day and I was like, I got to get some help from this, man. And I ended up getting some therapy and starting to work on it, man. I mean, it's made a world. It basically saved my life, man. And I mean, I can't do without it. I continue to do it for the last 2 years. I've been in there. I had to talk to I talked to a therapist. I ended up talking to a psychiatrist, which was one of the best things ever because he informed me about how the brain works, man, and how the brain operates. The brain is a bad boy, man. And once you be able to understand and kind of break some of them things down or let them break it down for you, I'm not a big advocate of medicine, but I had to get on a little bit of medicine to help my brain get into the right thing. It took a while to get the right combinations. It took a while to find the right therapist for me. But I'm telling you, if you open to it, man, and you haven't done it, please give it a try because it basically saved my life, bro.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The anxiety, anxiety is what made me start looking into it. I start hitting. It's so scary of a thing to deal with. Like it really shuts you down the whole day. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you just don't know like what to do. Like I tried to shower out of it.
Yeah,
I tried to sex my way out of it. I tried to like there's nothing you can do. Like once an anxiety attack hits you, oh my goodness. It's
bro.
it's it's something that you're like, I don't know what's wrong. Like my wife be looking at me like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. It feels like somebody died. Like that's that's literally how it feels. Like somebody died, but nothing happened. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? And that's what actually made me even think about. You know, I might need some meds for this.
bro.
Like, cause this is stupid.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? I actually I just had an anxiety attack maybe like a couple days ago, but it's been like the first time in a while, in like a year or two. but it was something that I was getting on a consistent basis for a minute, and it was just like I don't know, dude. Like I would call Mo Bet, I would call Leafer, I would call everybody and be like, yo, I don't know what's going on. This feels weird. This is this. I don't know. You know what I mean? And it's like I said, it's the weirdest thing ever. And to have that feeling of I guess death around you. You know what I'm saying? When that's not actually what's going on, you don't even know where to place it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just one of the weirdest things. And yeah, no, that anxiety is nothing to play with. And I actually talked to a buddy of mine who was on the show, Agent M. I was talking to him one day about it, and he was like, "Yo, you got an anxiety attack." I'm like, "How you know?" He was like, I deal with it too." Like, and I'm like, "Oh, you don't know until everybody starts talking about it." You know what I'm saying? Look at Flexx, can't miss the Mills, boy.
That's what's up.
So,
But
so one of the things that Joe was talking about, and that's really interesting. So I've never dealt with anxiety, but I know a lot of people who have. So on the outside looking in, you're like, well, just push through, right? So that's kind of the way I always thought about it. And what changed it, what crazy enough was last night when young boy got hurt. I don't know why, like it triggered something inside of me, man. Like I was like, yo, this is cause I've seen a lot of football, but I've never seen them have to do compressions for somebody. It
Bro,
did something.
I don't mean to cut you off, but that play almost made me call Kev and cancel because it hit me so deep. Plus, I know young boy. I trained him
Right.
down at the complex. You know what I'm saying? So it hit me so deep. This is the first time in probably about 8 months, 9 months that my anxiety started to rise up because all I could think about was putting myself in his shoes, going there, being that play, or when they get back out on the field, how those players are going to be able to react after seeing that trauma, man. So my anxiety was so high, and the only thing difference now is I understand what it is, and I know what it is, and I know how it's starting to come up. I mean, mine was so bad, man. You know, I do public speaking and do all these things. I couldn't even speak, man. I couldn't utter words. I couldn't get anything out. It felt like my breath was taken away. It felt like I was choking up. I thought I was gonna die right there. So when they said he went into cardiac arrest, man, I just all the emotion came back through me, man, went through my body. I was numb for like 5-10 minutes, man. And I was like, you know what? Now that I know what it is and I know how it's attacking me, I know where it's coming from. I got some tools to kind of try to fight it and fend it off. And that's the only reason I'm able to come on here today, man. But prayers up for D Ham, man.
Yeah, for sure. And think about your era compared to now. And that was something I was speaking to my fiance. Yo, they would put my man in the stretcher in the ambulance and play the game. Like, but them players was like, yo, I'm not going back out here. And I commend them for that, yo, because I could like I'm 1,000 miles away. And I'm like, yo, it did something to me. So to see it and be on the field with like, man, so I commend them for that because I can only imagine what that was like. So, man, kudos to them. But, man, like I said, it's somebody who I've always kind of seen anxiety attacks and stuff like that, the mental health thing from the outside looking in. Man, it gives me a newfound respect for it. Not that I disrespected it before, but to actually it feel like I was actually in it. Like, because, like, it bothered me and there was nothing I could do about it. It wasn't like I was hurt and be like, oh, let me massage it out. Like, it was something I just couldn't get to that spot. And it was tough, man.
so anybody else got anything to say about anything? Because I normally like to keep y'all for an hour, and I think this is the first time I'm able to actually get the show within a good constraints before I go over the summer. All right, cool. So summer, I've been taking some notes and chime in, if I messed up somewhere, right? So one of the things that Doug said early is you can't hit what you can't see, man. And I understand what that's engraved in him because that's just an old football word. Like keep your head up. You can't hit what you can't see, man. And I kind of love how he placed that. Write your goals down. So if you don't do vision boards, write your goals down. That kind of spoke to uh even how to get started with our planning. Um Something Mo do every year, we've been talking about is the start, stop, continue thing. And I'm glad he was able to explain that. He's explained it to me many a times. Which been doing that for the last 5 years or something like that, a while. And
Yep.
I'm glad you was able to explain that, put that out there. Um one good thing, Lug, you contributed to the review your life through the year. Like review, and assess all year. Don't ever stop doing that, so you can make minor adjustments throughout the year. Have a better year, man. I had a question on one of the questions I had. I didn't even ask it was why are people failing to hit them goals, right? And I think that speaks directly to that. Is if we review and assess throughout the year, like, okay, we got to redirect. You know what I'm saying? This ain't working. I expected this to be here. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of appreciate that. That's why I didn't even ask the question, because you kind of already answered it. Um, what else? Competitors mindset. I love that. We're all athletes here, and um, I think we all have that. I think it's kind of self-explanatory to have a competitor's mindset. I know me, I love to compete, man, and it's just one of those things that I don't think will ever leave me. You know what I'm saying? Especially if tall dudes on the basketball court, I'm coming for you because I'm gonna just try to debo you for real, for real. Shout out to Chris D. uh, Finding balance, right? That's a key point we hit on. I don't think we came up with a solution on how to find the balance. That's probably something we're gonna have to talk about something later. But that's something I definitely need to work on, is finding the balance of keeping the things that I loved and adding things where I need to. And you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like after LeBron has, wins the defensive player of the year. Now, like, you know what I'm saying? You win an MVP. How do you get better from winning an MVP? You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of weird how them dudes put that together and do that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's something that we all need to try to figure out, is how to win and continue to win. Um, what else here we got? Some things we implement for discipline, some tools, because you can't just say be disciplined. You know what I'm saying? Remove the things that are keeping you distracted once you notice them. Shout out to Hit Me. Um, Therapy. We just went deep on it, on the therapy thing. That could be a tool that, so we can help us assess whatever. Doug, man, the daily victories. I that I think that was a little deep for me. Like, I could see myself saying, okay, if I could break this down in the one day, 1 hours, 10 minutes. If I could do the next, if I could do the right thing for the next 10 minutes, and then the next 10 minutes after that, you know what I mean? And that, however small you got to break down them daily victories, then I think that's a huge goal, and that's a huge tool that we can use to kind of be successful throughout the year, man. And I think that's what I'm gonna start trying with the mix with all this other stuff I'm going through. Um, Anybody else want to add anything that I might have missed? Leifer, you ain't spoke, man. This ain't like you.
Yo, it was crazy because I was like hearing everybody, and they was dropping so much that I was like, man, I'm gonna just listen on this one, and I'm gonna just take it all in, and we'll discuss it later.
I bet, man. Hey, I want to appreciate our guest, man, Doug Flexx, the Olympian. You know, so congrats on that, man. That's Come
Hey,
on, man. That's
I
huge.
appreciate it.
You know what I
I
mean? That's
appreciate it, man.
I would just say, like, you know what I'm
Appreciate it.
saying. I text you about it though, like, you know what I mean. But that's huge,
Yeah,
man.
thank you. I
Congratulations on just
appreciate it,
being
man.
there.
It's an honor just to I look up to you, man. I've known you since we was kids, man. You like a big brother to me, man. So, you remember that one time we almost got caught in the parking lot up in
Listen, we don't
Monroeville.
got
We
to
used
talk,
to.
we want to talk about it. And
Hey,
Logan,
man,
man,
we got some stories, man. But yeah, man,
plenty.
to be on here with you guys in the panel and Mike Logan, man, I'm a huge fan, man. So this was
Appreciate it.
dope.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Logan, yeah, appreciate you coming on, man. I know your time is extremely valuable, man, and for you to even share it with us. I know we family and all, but I don't take it for granted, man. And
Appreciate it, man.
it's huge for us, man. You come over, and, it ain't about it's not necessarily. I ain't trying to pick your brain about things you don't necessarily want to
Well,
talk about, but I just appreciate you, dog.
listen, man. Anytime, man. That I got time. It was wild, man. Because I've been doing interviews all day. Once the D Ham went down, the phone started ringing. But I wanted to make it a point to get on and jump on with y'all brothers, man, and hear what y'all was talking about. And I got some dimes just as well as I was trying to give out, man. And it's always good to just fellowship with good brothers, man. I mean, to get the dialogue about therapy going, we don't have them conversations about therapy and anxiety and things that are bothering us. When you're going out with your boys and all that, man. And that's something that me and Chris D started doing, man. Me and Chris D, Tonya was dealing with anxiety real bad. And I was sitting there one day, I heard him talk about Tonya's anxiety for 30 minutes. And I sat there and was like, and ain't say nothing, because I ain't want him to know that I was dealing with, what his wife was dealing with and how it had me pinned down. And finally, one day I just spoke up and was like, man, I had an anxiety attack in the tunnel driving with my wife, and there was an accident. And bro, I snapped, you know what I'm saying? To the point where she was like, she thought we was going to die in the car. And I was like, I got to start expressing myself, man. I can't put myself in these situations and be captive to this mental illness, because that's what it is. And I said, I'm not going to be captive to that. Again, that competitor's mindset came in. I was like, I got to do something to get over this. And I'm glad we had the dialogue about it, man. And I'll definitely jump on with y'all again, man. So just keep in touch and let me know what's up. Brothers, if y'all on social media, I'll try to follow y'all. If y'all, I'm MLogan31 on everything. Follow me and we can keep on chopping it up.
Appreciate you guys.
No
All
doubt.
right.
Man, that's you got something to say, bro? Hit me.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, first off, man, happy New Year to you, brothers. Man, may you know what I mean? May we all, you know what I'm saying, reach the goals and heights that we supposed to, man. Yo, man, it's been a hell of a year, man, and this is gonna help me keep mine going, man. It's a continuation, dog. So appreciate you guys, man. I love the fact that it's all Pittsburgh cats on here, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't know what I'm saying? Like, yo, son, because we don't get that type of press, man. And so you get a lot of cats, like, let them know, man. It's some intelligent brothers doing some real stuff from out of the bird, man. It's real, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right, straight like that. Everybody good? Hey, another
Yes, sir.
week.
Well,
We out.
Yep.
those